guys, thanks so much for joining me again today for another December daily process video. So for today I've got day 15 and 16 for you, and for day 15 I decided to talk about the meal that we had. So that was our first full day in Bali. So we went to Bali during December, and we had this kind of roast pork thing, which is apparently quite famous in Bali. And so we decided to talk about pork in general. So, ham, pork, Christmassy. So we felt like it was kind of a Christmas related idea. So that is the story of that day. And the first thing to note is that I printed out my journaling onto a 3x4 journaling card, which is from the main kit from Elliott Wood's December Daily Kit. And so I printed it out just using my printer at home. And so I measure it out, just making sure that it will fit, in the area underneath the circle on the top there. And then I also added and then I just kind of printed again after attaching the 3x4 journaling card on top of the previously printed page. Now, if you're interested in a tutorial or anything like that, please let me know. So it's essentially I printed it out once and then stick a 3x4 journaling card on it, and then I printed it out again on top of that, just to make sure that it goes exactly where I want it to go. That's why I've printed first time. Now, the next thing I'm doing here is I cut out a 3x4 journaling card. A 3x4 journaling card, which is part of a 12x12 pattern paper from the Felicity Jane November kit kit from Felicity Jane from November. It's called Oh Dear. And I also picked out a number of die cut pieces from the Hip Kit Club's Scrapbook kit from November as well. So I pick out this one that says joy and a bunch of those kind of snowflakes in multiple colors, and I decided to put two of them kind of off to the side a little bit, and then I trimmed the excess. Now I also added that word phrase sticker, which is from the main December Daily Kit from Elliott Wood's as well. I also decided to add this tag here, which is also from the Hip Kit Club's die cut pack. And then I attached using my tiny attacher. Now, I'm moving on to day 16. Now, for day 16, I decided to talk about another story about Starbucks. So we went to Starbucks in Bali, which was slightly different from what we have in Australia, in Melbourne. And so I decided to kind of talk about what's on the menu, and how much it was quite nice to be able to go to Starbucks, even though when you're overseas, and to have the coffee that you're kind of used to. So that was great. And because I've got a number of photos, I decided to use my fuse tool, and so I am also using this 4x4 pocket here, which is a kind of fusible memory keeper product. So I am going to fuse this into a 3x4. Now, I also bought this mat here, which is a Fuse branded mat. I already have a heat resistant mat, to be honest with you, and it's been working really well, except it doesn't have the holder. So and I found that the fuse tool it gets quite hot, and if you don't have the holder, sometimes it's kind of like accident happens, and I tend to be quite clumsy. So that's why I bought the mat, so that I can actually store it in the pocket on the side. I don't think you can actually see it in the camera, but it's essentially just kind of a heat resistant pocket, which is attached to the mat there, and it hangs off on the bottom right, kind of on the going down off your table. I had to use the fuse tool to go across it a number of times, largely because I didn't leave the fuse tool to heat up long enough. So I think you're supposed to heat it up for a couple of minutes, but I think it's a couple of minutes is still too short. It would have been like, these 5 minutes, so just making sure that it really heats up really well. So I adhere that I inserted the photo in, so that 3x4 photo, and now I am picking out a kind of a pattern paper. So I want to put a piece of pattern paper behind the photo. And now I'm just kind of basically choosing between, pattern papers from the Alliwoods main kind of December daily kit, or a bunch of other ones from the Hip Kit Clubs or the Felicity kit. Now I was kind of hoping for something quite red, largely because I feel like the page needs a little bit more color, and so I'm just looking through what I've got left over from 2014 December daily kit from Alliwoods as well, and I picked out this pen paper, which is from that year's kit. And so I am going to use the die cut piece, which is the snowflake piece, which is from the Hip Kit Club's November kit. And then I also added the word phrase sticker, which is from I think it's from 2014 December daily kit as well. And now I'm just inserting that in, and so mine, keeping in mind that it would open kind of up, so you just want to make sure that you flip the page to the other side, just kind of so that when you flip up, it kind of opens up in the right direction. Now, as I said before, I had to fuse the pocket a number of times. So when I was kind of putting that pattern paper in, that 304 journaling card in, it broke. So I fused it once more, and I think this works quite well now. And my plan is to fuse that onto the bottom right pocket there, as you can see. And I'm fusing it directly on top of where the seal is between the top and the bottom pockets, and which means that you can still actually access the bottom pocket on the bottom right pocket there from the other side. And that's worked quite well, and I think this time I actually left the fuse tool to heat up for a long time before I actually start working on it. Now, the next thing I am going to do, I believe, is... What am I doing next? So I'm just thinking what I'm doing next. Is working on the top left pocket. Now I'm just picking out pattern paper, which is I'm looking through pattern paper from the Hip Kit Clubs scrapbook kit from November 2016. I want something which has kind of a white background, largely because I think there's a lot of things going on that page, but also to be relatively colourful, but doesn't have too much kind of going on. And it's kind of a weird way of describing it, largely because I don't want too many patterns, but there's a lot of colours on this pattern paper, but it's it's essentially they're all semicircles, so they are kind of repetitive in a way, so it wouldn't distract from the actual sleeves from Starbucks itself and also the other photos. So I kept this sleeve I brought it back from Bali. We have a kind of a normal sleeves here. We don't have these crafted by hand, which is kind of my understanding is actually quite a Christmas special one or something. We don't have that. We just have a normal Starbucks one, what you get during the year. So I saved that and I brought it back, and then I used the Krylon Make It Acid Free spray to make sure that it's it's, well, asset free. And then I am using these 2 photos, one of each of us. So, and then I added the star here, which is from the last year's December daily kit. Now, the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm thinking about, I want to print out I'm thinking of writing the journaling, but then realized I have quite a long kind of things to write, and it's just no way it's going to fit onto that page. So I decided to type it up and then just print it out using just my printer at home and trim it up, and that is essentially it. It's relatively long, so I didn't try to decorate it or anything like that, and it fits quite well. So I am happy with that, and I'm also happy with the pocket kind of popping out like that as well. I love how interactive it is. I'm just kind of trimming off the excess of the fuse pocket there. So what else am I doing next? No, that's it. Cool. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining me again today. And here are some close-up. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please do a thumbs up so I know that you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. And also, if you want YouTube to let you know when my next video comes out, please subscribe. I'm hoping to see you tomorrow, but you know, just in case you want to be reminded. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!